guys, this is 3.5.4. Today we're going to be working on a couple things, and we're going to be mobilizing especially around the deadlift. And I want you all to think about this. This is Emily Hacker. She's got a 275-pound deadlift. Not too bad for anybody. One of the things that happened for Emily last time we did heavy threes is that she felt a little bit of pain in her low back. Now, I wasn't teaching that class, but I know how Hacker moves. And so one of the questions we asked was, are your calves tight? And she said,
yes.
Yes. So, very good, yes. Yes, that was a definitive yes. And so, what you'll find is that if your plantar is tight and your Achilles is tight, it's going to pull you forward on your toes during a dead. And what that does is that limits the amount of your posterior chain that you're going to actually be able to engage and keeps the lift in front of you. Unfortunately, for heavy deads, that's not very healthy for the low back. So, let's take a look at how Emily used to set up. So when she set up for the dead, she was coming forward and her calves were tight. So basically what would happen is you get a little bit of daylight underneath her heels. Now we all know a top-down setup on the dead. One of the things we really need to do is make sure that before we lift the weight off the ground, that our heels are in fact on the ground. Now, the mobilization that we had Emily do, come on up, and to fix that was very simple. We had her take her shoes off, as she's going to do now, and she's going to find a barbell. This one I got from a CrossFit Endurance cert a couple years ago, and I've used it ever since. It helps your posterior chain range tremendously. Usually after doing this for about 2 minutes, you can increase your range of motion in posterior chain 4 to 6 inches, which is very noticeable, especially on the lifts. So what you do is you take one foot, you roll the plantar fascia for about 30 seconds. Now, some of you might be familiar with this, but again, what we're trying to do is integrate it into the workout and make your lift a lot better. 1 minute on one foot, then you'll switch 1 minute on the other foot. You lay down, you work your Achilles and your soleus. If you can manage, you're taking one foot over the other, adding a little bit more to it, putting a little more pepper on it. Same thing. And if you find a sweet spot, what you can do is use this leg as a double sort of barbell, and then move this bottom foot through plantar dorsiflexion.
Yep,
okay?
that's great.
It's
right there.
It's wonderfully helpful in improving your posterior range of motion. So now what happens is the athlete goes back to set up for the deadlift after doing both sides, 1 minute right, 1 minute left of the plantar, 1 minute right, 1 minute left of the Achilles. And now suddenly you've got a lot more range in the backside, and you can sit back a little bit more. You can find a little bit more activation of your hamstrings and your glutes before even lifting off. And that is going to help you a lot with your deadlift. Most specifically, it's going to keep your low back healthy. All right, so think about that. If you find, my back's a little sore, think about it on your feet. You might find something out that you didn't know before. Try it.